Hey, so yes, I play a female Miqote in Final Fantasy XIV, and I just want to take some time to share my thoughts on why I enjoy playing as a cat girl in game. Yeah, I'm just always really interested in seeing why people pick the characters that they do in games whenever you're given that option. And yeah, I've read up a bit on Reddit and stuff like that. And I just think it's very interesting to read those stories. So this is just my own interpretation on why I enjoy playing as such. And yeah, I just want to open up the conversation for anyone else who may be interested to share. So yes, I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV for about 2 years now. And it's my first MMORPG. I love Final Fantasy. I've loved it since I was a kid. And yeah, it just, at the time, it just felt like, oh, let me just try something new. And when it came to creating a character, I had no preconceived notion of what I wanted to be or what I wanted to do. I was just like, okay, it's a whole new world for me. And I ended up building, they give you like, for people who don't know, they give you like human races, some more kind of like elves, some kind of like little Lalafels, little dwarves, I guess, for lack of a better word. Laliho. And yeah, they just all rouse, they kind of dragon people. Now you could be a little bunny or a lion as well, which is fun. Or Iran, so just a variation of it. But I ended up trying to build a male cat boy, Miqote. And I was like, okay, let me just try and kind of like frame it or conceptualize it within the way I kind of envision myself as best as I could, almost like a mirror image, I guess. But something just didn't feel right. I don't know if it just wasn't aesthetically appeasing, 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 pleasing to me. And I don't know, I was just like, let me scratch that, let me try it from the beginning. And I ended up just going with the female look, just kind of see like, okay, let me see what the build is like. I like the different hairstyles. I just admire and appreciate female beauty and grace in not just their physical form, but just in their way of being. So I myself consider myself androgynous in a way. And it's just, I kind of thought about that as I was doing the character, was just like, okay, let me just kind of go with the flow of what I'm kind of feeling, what I'm kind of like gravitating to. And yeah, I ended up making a female Miqote that I named Zoe Nubel. In my mind, kind of based off Zoe, I think Nubel. She was the stunt actress for in Kill Bill for Uma Thurman. And in my mind, it's just like, oh, like it'd be great to have like a female character just kicking ass. Like in my mind, I'm like, that is amazing. Like that's just cool. And yeah, it's just like, okay, let's just go with it. And again, I was just taking in this whole new world of being in an MMO. The controls were weird, and I just bring that up because I think I was just taking everything as it came. Again, I didn't have any thoughts on how I wanted it to be. I know people do a lot of role play. I had no idea of what that was, but it was very interesting just as time went on to see that I could make my character do certain emotions and like physical kind of like movements, and some very respectfully feminine, some just very like gender neutral, I guess. And they're just expressions, they're just motions. Like everyone is capable of smiling, laughing, crying. But yeah, in my mind, it was just like, oh well, like I didn't know she could do all these different things. And I guess through the course of the last 2 years, it's been interesting to kind of see the way I've envisioned myself and my relationship with the character Zoe. There have been moments where I've actually been able to play with other people in game, and as you do in an MMO, but really interact with like just and becoming friends with different people in different areas of the world, and kind of expressing myself through the emotions that she may give. Sometimes they are an extension, I have found, of myself and the way I'm feeling about a certain moment. Like, oh, I'm laughing at what somebody says. And then there's moments where, particularly within story sections of the game, where you're given cutscenes and then your character acts in a certain way, where she is given her own kind of independent way of being that is outside of my own control, which is something I've just always loved within video games, that you're exploring a character within their own world. And I myself just really enjoy taking in any story for what it is, and I've enjoyed every single Final Fantasy game that I've played. They've been about like 7, 10-ish, but I've just always enjoyed their own like platform, the themes they've explored, and but I mean, as far as like the character and my relationship with Zoe, my character, it's just been very interesting to kind of see that balance between moments where I feel connected with her, and again, a sort of like extension of myself with my character, and then also moments where she is just acting in a way out of her own volition, and it's very lovely. I think I don't know how else to describe it, but I don't want to say it's complicated. It's like, wow, how nice to be able to relate with someone that is on their own journey, yet we share a similarity within the video game. I don't think I've ever experienced a video game, much less any other kind of like interactive form of entertainment in that way. Of course, you could live vicariously through people within films and what they're experiencing, and you can relate through what they're doing within different moods of a character. But to be actually playing as one, it's just something all its own thing, which I just think is one of the highlights of playing video games and enjoying them. I know it's not for everybody, but it's just something I've always admired. And yeah, I've actually had a chance to play with little Lalafels, the big burly Rothgars, the dragon people, and each one of them is very unique in their own way, and I really admire it. But again, I think going back to the androgyny thing, maybe, it's like I myself am also able, I think, to be able to very respectfully act within my own kind of like feminine ways and be okay with that. Like in the past, I'm just sharing, I guess. Like there have been moments where I was like, I wonder what it would have been like if I was a girl myself, like growing up. Like what would that be like? And maybe this was just like an extension of that. And I was like, I don't want to say it's like living fantasy, but it is. It's like living in another. It's like living in a dream. I was gonna say another skin, another fur, if you may, but if I may, it's so lovely to be able to, in my mind, be able to kind of live within a different world. Like, I mean, yeah, a different world, but even in a way act in a way that I may not always feel comfortable with doing in real life, which I've grown to be more so. But there's obviously are moments where I'm like, can I be like this? Like, I wonder if maybe people might think it's weird, but yeah, well, what am I gonna do? I still do it in life anyways, although I do get shy. And the same thing in game. It's like the idea with an MMO, again, for people who don't know, it's like, oh, like you interact with other people around the world who are also playing, and they have no idea what you may look like unless you share photos of yourself again on Discord or just through interacting. But it's, I don't know, maybe some people may consider it hiding. Again, an extension. Some people maybe just physically mirror themselves within the characters that they make. Some people are probably just far beyond. Like, I don't have horns, I do not have ears, but in my mind I'm like, oh, I have a kitty heart at heart, but I'm just soft, caring. And yeah, that's the way that I envision Zoe, my character. In a way that I envision her to be that same way of caring, just jubilant, very excited to just be and take down baddies when we need to, also praying. And I kind of do little emotes with people, even NPCs sometimes, even if I don't need to. I just think it's almost like a form of courtesy. And again, maybe that is just an extension of myself being projected into the character. But, and yeah, I think particularly with her being a cat girl, again, I feel like every race has their own unique qualities and quirks. But I love the way that her little ears move during certain emotions. I picked mine as a keeper of the moon. Me myself being very, feeling very connected with the nighttime and the moon, and noticing that her pupils are very, very round, as opposed to the very slit-like ones of the sun type subrace. And variation. But I don't know, her little teeth, she has little, like, her fangs are a little longer. The way she moves, the way she jumps, it's it's just lovely. It's cute. I enjoy being able to see just her in a way enjoy herself, and also me myself participating in that. I guess it's again, it's a very interesting relation, I guess, in a weird way. But yeah, and I will say also the clothing. I love wearing women's clothing in real life, and I'm glad that in game, a lot of clothing glam is very unisex as well. There are some pieces that are gender locked, which I think is very unfortunate sometimes, because I may see a jacket and it's like, oh my god, it would be so great to see that on her, but alas, what can I do? But yeah, just like in real life, you find pieces that you like and you're like, it looks good, but maybe it's not for me, or it just doesn't fit, and it is what it is. But being able to also see that versatility, dress up in skirts, dresses, even if it's not in my own physical form or shape, but within a character that I choose, and it's just like, maybe it is me acting as a kid too. It's just like playing like with dolls and stuff. It's like, oh wow, she looks so pretty. It's like, oh, you're so cute. Or I don't know, just but admiring that sense of fashion too. Because it's not all about just physical looks and attributes. But there's something very lovely about creating something visually pleasing and aesthetically engaging to the human eye. And it may be within the dress, it may be within their movements and the way they may dance. It's just, I guess, I don't know, maybe it's a subconscious thing. Of course, there are things that I, again, see that I just relate with and naturally just find pleasing. But I guess it's in my nature to kind of question and be like, but why? I guess that was the kind of purpose of this, to just kind of lay it all out there, share it for other people that may just kind of wonder, like, or have their own thoughts on like why they choose the characters that they choose. And again, if you are willing, it'd be great to hear your own thoughts within the comments, or if you want to make another video too, and then just share it with me, that'd be great. I would love to kind of like get another, just different viewpoints from people. Again, it could be written, but I think within video form is very lovely to hear and also see, think, just how other people may physically react, emotionally also express themselves through the power of voice. And again, it could be through the power of words, because we can all speak. But yeah, I just again wanted to open that up. So thank you for taking the time to listen. And I hope that your journey in life and in game is just filled with light and love and peace, and hopefully everything works out well in your path. Thank you. Take care. Bye. Goodbye.